Okay, I know we're all part of the sourdough movement and I know we've all got our starters, but if you're like me, it's not always easy to keep it alive. Mine's in my fridge right now just because I don't have the time to keep another thing alive in my household. I've got young kids, they take up all my time. But I need sandwich bread today. So I'm going to be showing you how to make my favorite fluffy sandwich bread using my Tangzhong method. Like with most of my bread recipes, we are starting at the stovetop. We are going to be making our Tangzhong, which is a mixture of flour, so in this case, 1/3 cup of flour to 2/3 cup of water. So we're just bringing this to a slurry consistency, a little bit, about a paste, honestly, before we add this into our bread mixture. Now I am going to try to get all the clumps out of this. This will come together really quickly, no more than 2 minutes normally once you get your heat up medium to bring all of this together. But we want this to kind of become a pre-gelatinized paste that we're going to add into. That's my 2-year-old cleaning up his toys. We're going to add into our bread mixture. A backpack? You have a backpack? Oh, okay. Here we go. So it's starting to cook down. And you can see that flour, I said water, that flour is starting to absorb all the water and to get thick and bubbly. Once it does that, we're going to take this off of the heat. We don't want it to be too hot when we add it to our yeast because it can kill our yeast. But ooh, there we go. Perfect. This is just about done. I'm going to turn my heat off and then we're going to go to our mixing. To our mixer, we're going to add 2 2/3 cup flour. Now, I like to start with my paddle mixture just until everything's incorporated, and then I'll switch to my bread hook. To this, we're going to add 1/2 cup of warmed milk. I forgot to warm this. I will be right back. All right, now that my brain is back on, we need 1/2 cup of warmed milk. We're going to add that to our flour slowly. Oh no. Hold on, I'm going to go check on my baby while this incorporates. All right, baby is all settled back down, so we're good. 4 tablespoons of melted butter added to this. And then in this, we have a tablespoon of granulated sugar. I'm actually using just Panella's. It's basically cane sugar that's been dried down. There's no processing or refinement. So we've got that. 2 tablespoons, just kidding, 2 teaspoons of active dry yeast and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. So I'm going to add this in there as well. And now that our Tangzhong has cooled off, we're going to add that in here as well. So give that a good mix up. Here we go. Just a little bit at a time till it fully incorporates. Not too much. There we go. And this one is just about the end of it. Scrape the sides down, get all of that floury goodness. Okay. All right. Now that that's getting incorporated and nice and sticky, we're going to let this run for just a few minutes to see. I want to always check the flour mixture. When you are baking, it is really important to be aware of what your dough is doing. It's going to be different for you every single day. So sometimes you might need 2 2/3. Sometimes you might need 2 2/3 and 2 tablespoons. Sometimes you might need less. It just depends on, and I'm talking about flour. Forgot to say what I was talking about. Goodness gracious. Went on a tangent and you guys are like, what is she talking about? Flour. It really depends on your humidity. It depends on how dry it is where you are. Right now in the house, it's pretty humid. My son takes the world's longest showers and he's 2, so we have to keep all the doors open so that we can see him and make sure that he's okay. And he took a nice long shower this morning, which means it's a little bit humid in our house right now because of that. So I might need a little bit more flour because this is still looking pretty sticky. If I touch it, it's very paste-like consistency. So I'm going to add a little bit more flour and check it. That's why it's really important for you to keep an eye on your own flour and your own bread when you are baking, because it could be different every day. And if you just follow the recipe to a T, you might end up with something that's not exactly what you're looking for. So I'm going to go grab flour real quick just to add to this a little bit more. And I'm going to do that with my bread hook as well. So I'm going to swap that out and I'll be right back. I'm going to just scrape this down a little bit so that I can get this all incorporated into the center. I've got my dough hook on and I'm going to just slowly incorporate a little bit more flour at a time until I'm happy with the consistency. I'll show you what the consistency that I'm looking for is in just a second after I get this all sorted out. So like I said, I'm going to add just a tablespoon of flour at a time. This is still bread flour, just until I'm happy with the consistency of that dough. before I added the extra flour, the dough was just not even sticking to the bread hook. It was just spinning around the outside. Now it's consistently sticking to the bread hook, which is exactly what we're looking for. Okay, so I'm gonna put this aside and I'm gonna show you what that looks like. Okay, so here is the dough. You can see as I'm spinning it, it's sticking to the bowl. Oh gosh, this is so messy. Don't judge me on my dirty mixer. Welcome to my real life. But it's not sticking nearly as much to the bowl as it was. It's actually, wow, call me a liar right now. There we go. It's starting to get picked up by that bread hook again, which is what we're looking for. And as you can tell, I need to fix my KitchenAid. It is jumping, jumping, jumping. So I'm going to let this knead for 5 minutes and then I will be back. Okay, this has been kneading for 5 minutes and it is looking really good. Oh, hi, Winnie. We're going to pull this off the bread hook. We're going to grease the inside of this pan. I'm not using a new bowl. You got a spoon down there? I'm very lazy and I don't want to have to I'm doing this the backwards way. I don't want to have to dirty another pan and clean another pan. Oh my gosh, what is happening? Hold on, this is really on there. Holy moly. I'm not strong enough for this. But my bread is all kneaded and beautiful looking. So we're gonna pull it off the bread hook. We're gonna spray the inside of this, get off. Spray the inside of this pan, which came out pretty clean. There's not really much on here, which is awesome. Spray the inside of our pan. We're gonna shape this up just a smidgen so it's a nice ball when it comes out. Oop, here we go. I just like to roll it and tuck it under my fingers until I get a nice little ball shape here. Which is kind of what you do when you do like artisan sourdough. She's over here playing on the floor with a spoon. She's very happy. But it's just about her nap time. So this is perfect timing because now this gets to sit in here. Whoop, just like that with my cute little bowl cover from my Aunt Allie. This gets to sit in here for an hour before we shape it into a loaf. So I will see you back here in 1 hour. All right, our bread has been rising for an hour. So we're going to flour our surface, which is sort of pre-floured a little bit. I was working on something else earlier, but we're going to flour our surface and we're going to dump out our bread dough. This is going to be 1 loaf. So we're going to squish this down, get all those big air pockets out. And then when we roll it, I don't know if this is the right way, but this is the way I've always done it. So I'm going to take it and I'm going to bring it in a little bit, double it up, and then I'm going to roll, roll, roll. And I always say it like this because I do this with my 2-year-old really often. I mean, it's surprising that he isn't trying to roll with me right now, but I roll it like this, tuck the edges under, and then at the end, I always try to like squeeze them in so that I get a nice, clean, pretty end right here. Sort of pinch, 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 pinch. Same thing here, pinch, 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 pinch. Now sometimes it doesn't want to stay because it is a little bit extra floured, but I'm gonna then roll and tuck, and then I'm just gonna plop this into my greased pan. This is gonna sit here for another hour to rise. You want the loaf to be about 1 inch above your pan edge before you pop this into the oven. So we're gonna let this sit for an hour and we will be right back. Okay, so our bread has risen quite a lot. It looks beautiful. We're gonna put this in the oven at 350 degrees for 30 to 35 minutes. We're gonna go ahead and cut this open. It has been cooled completely. We put butter on the crust as soon as it came out, so it's nice and fluffy. Oh, it came right out. Dang, she's beautiful. Okay. My toddler is trying to come say hi to me really quick. But we are gonna cut her open to take a look. Ooh, fluffy and delicious. You could smell this. Oh, it is just so nice. Okay, so that is our Tangzhong sandwich bread recipe. If you have any questions, drop them below. I'm happy to answer them. But yeah, that's it. We're gonna go eat this with our zucchini corn chowder, our summer chowder that we just finished making. But there you go.